Discussions are basically with the intention to propagate about like all the information about startup and how we can inculcate startup thinking in the brain of young generation. So with that view, we have kept this session, and the morning session is starting with the important topic, that is healthcare. So I will be inviting our panelists today, including Dr. Radha Rangarajan, Dr. G.N. Singh, Dr. MLB Bhatt, Dr. Shubhini Saraf, and Dr. Patil, Sandeep Patil. I will request everybody to come to the dais. From the bottom of my heart, I wish to welcome you all at 10 o'clock. You people have made it sure that you are here, you are reaching here for this important panel discussion. To start with, I will request our director, Dr. Radha Rangarajan, to welcome all our dignitaries today. Dr. G.N. Singh, Dr. Radha Rangarajan welcoming Dr. G.N. Singh. Dr. Radha welcoming Dr. MLB Bhatt. Welcoming of Dr. Shubhini Saraf. And Dr. Radha welcoming Dr. Sandeep Patil. Before we start our next session, I take this opportunity to introduce our distinguished guest today. One of the important panel discussion is here, and we have every sector representing here, right from policy makers to the industry people. So Dr. G.N. Singh, I would like to, actually nobody needs introduction here, but I would like to introduce on formal notice. So Dr. G.N. Singh is basically, you know, that Indian Pharmacopoeia. He is, we can call him as a founding director of Indian Pharmacopoeia. He was a founding director of Pharmacopoeia, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, and basically because of him, the standards, whatever pharmaceutical standards we see, the standards have been laid down, and the Indian Pharmacopoeia is there, and we are following all these standards. After that, he was also a regulator, and he served as a CDSCO and in the CDSCO and as a DCGI of Government of India for the stint of 6 years. And he is very important policy maker in the pharmaceutical field, and because of his contribution and the way the harmonization of the standards have been laid down, Indian industry could make it to the second largest pharmaceutical industry in the world. So we welcome Dr. Singh. Dr. Bhatt Saab, very renowned figure for CDRI people. We are like we see he is a well-wisher of CSIR family, and he has been always helpful to CDRI. Many times, like he has worked as a, basically he has worked as a VC, Vice Chancellor of KGMU, and during his stint, the COVID times also, he helped CDRI to bring in the molecules like umifenavir and hesperidine. He helped us in the designing and taking up the clinical trials of these molecules. So he is very instrumental in all help to the CDRI. He has been Vice Chancellor of Hemavati Nandan Bahuguna Medical University in Uttarakhand. and at the moment he is serving as a director at Kalyan Singh Cancer Research Institute. So we welcome Dr. Bhatt. Dr. Shubhini Saraf is well-known figure to CDRI because she has been visiting CDRI and in various different capacities. She has, presently she is serving as a director of National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Raebareli, which is one of the Institute of Eminence by government, declared Institute of Eminence by Government of India. And at the, before that she has also worked as a director at BBAU, Lucknow, and she has also served as a one of the known pharmaceutical institute at at Lucknow, that is BBD. So she has served many important positions in AKTU also. So we welcome Dr. Shubhini Saraf. And Sandeep is basically student entrepreneur, I would say. He is an important figure right now. During the COVID times when India needed some important, N95 mask and other things, Sandeep was instrumental to bring in the nanofiber generated mask, Shwasa, and we see a lot of his contribution in medical filter technologies and filtration technologies. So he is basically IIT Kanpur doctorate student, and he has established his company eNanospin, which is doing great in making Atmanirbhar Bharat. So with this introduction, I request Dr. Radha Rangarajan to take up the panel discussion further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anil, and a warm welcome to the panelists. Indeed, a warm welcome to all those of you who are in the audience. They say that the secret to getting ahead is getting started. So here we are, getting started on day 2, a bit early, but I'm glad that you are all present in the audience. The panel discussion today is going to focus on India's healthcare and the many dimensions to it. Of course, in the span of 45 minutes, we can't possibly look at every angle. So we will look at select segments, and from your own perspectives, I request the panelists to share their insights and opinions. India's healthcare has undergone huge transformations in the last 20 years or so. And this includes expansion in infrastructure, access to healthcare, the use of technology, and overall an increased accessibility to healthcare amongst the Indian population. There have been many important initiatives of the government that have played a role, including the National Health Policy, which includes schemes like the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, as well as the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. These kinds of schemes have not only enabled people to seek healthcare when needed, but they have also ensured lowered cost of patient care, lowered out-of-pocket expenses for our public. And these measures, therefore, have resulted in overall improvements in health statistics. For example, when you look at neonatal mortality rates, they have dropped from 37 per 1,000 births in 2005-2006 to 29.5 per 1,000 in 2015-16 to 20 per 1,000 births in 2020. Similarly, infant mortality rates have dropped from 58 in 2005-06 to 40.7 in 2015-16 to 28 per 1,000 in 2020. And maternal mortality rates as well have dropped. So we are seeing changes, and we are seeing better, we are seeing a healthier Indian population at some level. However, there is much more work to be done. In terms of the healthcare infrastructure, which is at the core of delivery of healthcare, there has been a huge expansion in the number of government hospitals, medical colleges, and overall healthcare infrastructure. Of course, there has been also a corresponding increase in private healthcare facilities, and even today, between 70 to 80% of India's healthcare is actually delivered by the private sector. And the numbers depend, the numbers can be slightly different depending on what source of statistics you look at. Having said all of this, there is no doubt that capacity to treat and capacity to touch the lives of people has certainly increased and improved over time. And all of this is, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, SDG 3, which says ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Now, if you look beyond the healthcare delivery system, the other backbone of healthcare is really the pharmaceutical industry, which in India has played a huge role, not only in making healthcare affordable, but indeed for making healthcare affordable globally in some sense, because India is supplying drugs and vaccines to the global population. So we rank third in terms of production by volume when you look at small molecules, but 14th in terms of value. And when you look at vaccines, India accounts for 60% of global vaccine production, but its share in terms of value is not commensurate. So we need to discuss and talk about what will change this aspect and bring greater, will really increase our economic contribution and what role all of us play in it, including educators, including drug discovery and development institutes and companies, clinical centers, and so on. Finally, I would say that innovation is the backbone of any country's economic progress. It is a foundational driver of economic growth. In fact, no nation can progress from a developing to a developed country without a strong innovation engine. And we all know that innovation is really driven by startups because they are nimble, they are agile, they can be focused, and they can very rapidly test and validate ideas. The government recognizes this and has created various schemes such as the Startup India scheme, the SIDBI fund, BIRAC has various schemes, and institutions have incubators of various kinds focused on different aspects of healthcare. So there are a multitude of initiatives available to startups today. But we always need to ask ourselves the question of what more do we need to do? So with this as a background, we have 4 panelists here today who are, I think, well suited to respond to some of these questions and to share their perspectives. So I'll start with Dr. Bhatt. In your role as a clinician and now in your role as director of the Kalyan Singh Cancer Memorial Hospital, what is, in your opinion, some of the emerging unmet needs in healthcare that we need to address urgently, given that we have made progress at multiple levels as reflected by parameters like mortality rates and so on and so forth. But if you were to cast your gaze not only at what is happening today, but also the 20-year outlook, what do you think are the emerging problems we should be working on?
Thank you, ma'am, for asking me this very important question, because that makes the stage set for all the future journey into the healthcare as far as the policy, planning, innovation, and research is concerned. Good morning to all of you. It's my proud privilege and honor to be present here during this panel discussion on a very important topic. What I understand, let me ask to start with, the air conditioning was making a lot of noise. And what I understand, there was a much difficulty in getting what we are talking. Is it completely audible? Backbench? If not audible, kindly raise your hands. Not audible. So I was sitting there when announcement was happening, even sitting on the stage also. I'm having difficulty. So there's a lot of cooling and everyone was feeling chilled. So may I request the organizers, if they agree with me, to stop the air conditioning on the left flank also. Back on the exhibition cell area, the air conditioning can continue so that at least we are able to communicate with the audience here. So if this side they have just stopped on the request of Professor G.N. Singh, this side also I request. So the question which has been asked to me, what is the healthcare challenges, emerging areas in our country? So that is the most important and pertinent topic. So I'm scared whether I'm fully audible or not at the back. That is the biggest concern, because all the knowledgeable persons sitting on the dais and in the front row, they know everything, whatever I'm going to talk to them. My intent is talking to my students sitting in the audience and back bench people, researchers, scientists and young people.
Everything is audible. They are audible.
Okay.
You're audible at the
Okay.
back. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. तो अगर ये माइक सिस्टम बेटर हो तो वहां से हम बोले थोड़ा सा 2 ही मिनट बोले हैं.
Actually, the echo is heard on the dais, but in the audience it is okay. I'm sorry about that.
यहाँ से बोले
यहाँ
Okay.
पे यहाँ पे same है.
दोनों सेम. ओके. So healthcare system, many of the background information madam has already given to all of you, Madam Director of CDRI. So given that infant mortality, maternal mortality and all those health indices, there are very many emerging unmet areas of healthcare in our country, and the most important could be 60 to 70% of the disease burden currently pertains to lifestyle diseases. And it's a very, very unfortunate that we are adopting a bad lifestyle, falling sick, and then we expect the government and healthcare delivery system to look after the problem. And these are all preventable problems. So silver lining is that all those lifestyle diseases can be prevented, at least if not all, 80 to 90%. And currently in Western world 70%, in our country also more than 60%. So all these diabetes, hypertension, cancer, mental disorders, respiratory problems, they are all the lifestyle problems. Many of them then can be addressed at the individual level. What is the fault of the individual is not that we should blame on the individual. We as a society have the responsibility to educate them, make them aware so that they understand the importance of those factors for their own health. If the society fails to educate the masses, it's the society which is failing. And what is the society? Society is government, regulatory bodies, research institution, academia, clinicians, and in fact the innovators and civil society also. So we all have to work together for this very important thing. And out of these areas, which are another very important thing, is that we are not able to look after our elderly. Ours is the aging population currently. The life expectancy is crossing 70 years. Currently we have around 12% population, that translate to 18 crores, 180 million, which are elderly. And by year 2050, we are expecting it to be around 20%. It will be around 30 crores, 300 million population, larger number than any other country in the world, barring couple of them which cross the 300 million population. So that is going to be a big challenge, and they have all the multiple health issues and problems. And that can be addressed by joining the hands of all these academic institutions, researchers, and then innovators, and everyone coming together with the support and guidance of the government, because it's the government will which is most important. And what we have seen during the COVID-19 journey, that the government machinery, when it was activated, it led to the 2 indigenous development of vaccines. We had zero available infrastructure for the management of COVID, as far as the PP kit or drugs or the ICU beds or all those things, ventilators and everything. And even vaccines, we have never created in the history of country ever any vaccine. And 2 international class, world class vaccines were developed. And we looked after the health of the globe of the world. So that is what is the strength of the government machinery pitching in. So government has pitched in, and that leads to this startup conclave being organized here. So what is important is that all that. And what is the journey for these unmet needs of the healthcare, the elderly population, women health? Women health, we are talking of the infant mortality and maternal mortality. We know that the malnutrition and anemia during the pregnancy, non-vaccination against the tetanus vaccine, these are the biggest causes which can be addressed at very low cost. And what needs to be that we need to identify the mass population at a very low cost. All the artificial intelligence tools to identify non-invasive methods for maybe not only cancer but non-invasive method of identifying all these problems, anemia, diabetes, hypertension, everything. They have come to the fore, they are available to the masses. What it needs to be done is to be pressed into the public service, in the societal service. And we have to develop many innovations and new technologies based on the AI tools which are suitable for our own country. The remote area, we cannot cater to all the remote areas as on today with our available infrastructure. So what we need to do is that we have to exploit the technology, the telemedicine, with the help of all the available infrastructure. And then sometimes there is also need of developing the real manpower, because geriatric health and elderly, which I was talking earlier, then family health and family medicine, these are the psychiatrists, availability of psychiatrists in the country, they are not available. So whatever the little numbers they are available, we have to use and utilize to the maximum of its benefit through the technology, the AI tools, the telemedicine and all those things, and then government machineries, then academia and all the private players, public-private partnership have to come forward to train the population for these required shortages in the infrastructure. So there are multiple things to be done at various levels by all the stakeholders. Ultimately, it's the individual's responsibility to look after one's own health. But individuals mostly fail. The youth is falling to all these drug addiction, and this is very unfortunate. So, exploiting the technology for this also, so that easily they could be identified one who's taking these all prohibited medicines and drugs and substances, and they can be identified with the breath test at the mass scale in the institution, in the college, in the workplace, and they could be segregated, looked after, counseling, treatment, and all those things. Like I'm an oncologist. So what I'll try to finish with my observation that there are two things I'll be talking, very small tools but having lot of impact. So what is that impact is that we have been talking about Niramium for the breast cancer identification, non-invasive method of thermal changes, identifying by a machine keeping at a distance from the body of the individual lady, and then identify the temperature variance, and the temperature variance gives a clue. There could be a possibility of neoplastic or cancerous growth inside the breast, which can be in fact investigated subsequently. So this is a tool which can be identified and applied at the mass scale level, like visual inspection of acetic acid for early diagnosis of this carcinoma uterine cervix, which has been the commonest cancer in rural India. So that is very, acetic acid is a 5 paisa cost of the acetic acid applied on the cervix, and the color changes are seen through the naked eye. That can give a clue to the carcinoma cervix. Similarly, nobody has developed a tool for early diagnosis of oral cancer by applying the acetic acid or all those things, so that they can be giving a hint to the diagnosis of. So those things. So what is happening in our country, the majority of the research institutions and even academia and hospitals and cancer institutions and hospitals, they are concerned about the high-end management. We are concerned about the say organ transplant. We are concerned about developing the new therapeutics and drugs for the treatment of cancer and new diagnostic molecular techniques for cancer. But we can have the mass scale application of new biomarker for early diagnosis of cancer. That is the need of our, and this kind of a tool will really help the masses much more than what it could be that high-end molecular research being addressed for therapeutics. That takes 5,000 crores, 10,000 crores. Here is a tool which can save thousands and millions of lives without much of investment. So that is what is the need of we should gear up for this kind of journey, looking after the health of our individuals, having non-invasive method of identification of anemia at the mass scale in the rural areas, and they address with the treatment and therapeutics, counseling, and those things. So society has to take, and it's very fortunate and very, very heartening to note that all of us have really geared in that direction. But what needs to be done, that the speed has to be enhanced for catering to the 140 crore population, and that is the need that we are sitting here. But all of you sitting here is having much more responsibility, that what we are telling to our academic colleagues and our researchers and future generations sitting here in this audience, to kindly gear up for looking after some small innovation that could really lead to the meaningful change and large number of individuals being identified and preventive. So the preventive medicine is going to be the most important. Even for cancer, I am telling you, 80 to 85% of cancers, they could be prevented. And that prevention, with the help of new vaccines which we are developing, and for many more cancer, newer vaccines could be developed, and they could be saving millions of lives all over the world. And our therapeutic armamentarium will not be sufficing for all kinds of management, prevention, and then all other needs which are unmet in the society for health, which are emerging. Elderly population.
There are
Okay.
several
So
points.
thank
you
you very
brought up,
much.
so we'd
These
like
are
to
my
follow up on
initial
those.
thoughts, and I'll revert back if permitted to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. There were several important points that you raised, Dr. Bhatt, including the fact that we need better techniques for identification, early screening of diseases. Yes, there is a big chronic disease burden in India. 63% of our deaths today are due to chronic diseases, not infectious, not communicable diseases, and this reflects the changing health patterns in our country. So you stressed on geriatric issues, cancer, and the need for prevention, the need for screening, the need for lifestyle changes, for individuals taking responsibilities, but of course institutions have a larger responsibility, because we can actually produce solutions at scale which individuals cannot. So moving on from many of these points that you have made, Dr. Jian Singh, I will ask you the following question. Given that these sorts of emerging healthcare needs require very large-scale programs, and funds and policies need to be geared towards early detection and early screening, and not just that, we also need to improve modalities of screening and diagnosis. And even while we say that early screening can help prevent many deaths, we all know that we will need improved therapies, we will need better drugs, safer drugs. So from your perspective, if you can provide a UP government perspective on what can be done, or what initiatives the government is engaged in or is planning to address these topics.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am really thrilled to be in this campus, and such a nice arrangement. I am grateful to Radhaji, Rituji, and all the panelists who are here, and the young scientists of CSIR and Uttar Pradesh plus of the whole country. Radhaji has rightly pointed out how we are going to see that India become the hub or the destination for innovation and addressing the healthcare issues. We are very fortunate to see the galaxy of the people sitting in the front, and I'm seeing young scientists very excited to see how India is going to be the leaders in healthcare sector. We are very fortunate to our policy makers who are well aware what are the issues and challenges the country and such the masses are going to face. This is how our Honorable Prime Minister has given a call that each and every district we must have one medical institution. Medical institution means they want to have a medical college so that the competent, qualified medical practitioner be produced in this country. The Honorable Chief Minister is very keen to know that, to see that Uttar Pradesh become a state where healthcare sector is properly addressed. And this is how each and every district we are going to have one medical college. Almost 80 medical college has become already operative. It's a very proudful moment for Uttar Pradesh state. We are seeing transformed hospital care system through the direct intervention of the government and through the PPP model, which are under consideration is going to transform the healthcare sector. If you see the global economy and global healthcare sector, about the total investment which is happening at the global level on the healthcare sector is of about $14 trillion economy is invested over there. So if you see the overall global economy, it comes about $100 trillion and about 15% is being invested or is being pumped on healthcare sector. So healthcare sector is very important sector and we are very fortunate to get an opportunity to serve in that sector. The pharma sector I am going to talk about how it is going to be a very fortified and how it is going to help to see that the healthcare sector, which our leaders, our policy makers are seeing that the life expectancy of the people of this country be enhanced, as Radhaji and Bhatt Sahab has mentioned, how the prevention and cure is going to play the rightful role. As on today, the expectancy is roughly about 70 years. You imagine about 40 years back, it was just half of the expectancy which we met by the transforming the healthcare sector. We are expecting when India become Viksit Bharat, our UP is going to be a transformed in healthcare sector by 2047. The vision which our Honorable Chief Minister and UP government is having, we want to see that the people live at least 100 years, which our forefathers were having that type of expectancy. And that would become possible when we are having the good infrastructure in healthcare sector, an integrative approach in the overall having the treatment system. And this is how the Ayush and the modern system, they are working today in a very collaborative and the integrative fashion. The same thing we want to see in India and in Uttar Pradesh is specifically because we are having such a top institution of CSIR are located in Uttar Pradesh, and we want to see that Uttar Pradesh become the place for innovation. CDRI, which has played the rightful role in many years, most of the new chemical entity which has been discovered in this country, almost 80% of those innovation has taken place in CDRI. We are very fortunate. We are very fortunate that the NBRI, the CIMAP, and the ITRC, these are the institutions which played a very important role in overall drug discovery research of this country. Again, the call has come that India has to stand taller. We are known as the pharmacy of the world. We are supplying medicine to more than 194 countries. You may imagine, the Radhaji has rightly mentioned, though we are having very high quality medicine manufacturing facilities in this country, we are having more than 560 US FDA approved manufacturing plant in this country. It is second after the US. But if you see in terms of value, we are 13 in number. Third in terms of production, but 13 in terms of value. So we have to transform the whole system. Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Chief Minister want to see that how India can develop deep pockets so that the person like Sandeep Patil, whom I was discussing, he is an IITian. During COVID, he developed a very unique system of prevention by having some of the medical devices developed over there. Similarly, when we are seeing the NIPER, which is another institution of excellence, is nearby here. I was discussing with our Dr. Sraf how we are going to have a collaborative approach so that whatever the policy UP government is going to have or is having, we are the first state which have launched the pharma policy. We are going to have each and every issues which requires to be addressed to see that the young scientists, the young entrepreneurs may see that UP become the hub for innovation, hub for invention, hub for startup. In these lines only the Honorable Chief Minister has created to see that mass production at affordable cost of high quality take place. And this is how we are going to have a pharma park at Lalitpur in about 1,500 acres. Already the infrastructure things have been are at the developing stage. More than 10 industrial houses, they have taken the land and they are going to have manufacturing base over there. When Bhatt was discussing how we can say that India and the UP become the technology innovative state, for that at Jewar Airport we are going to have in 350 acres the medical devices park. About 96 manufacturing units of very high level. They have already taken the space. They are erecting their manufacturing base. Hopefully in times to come, we would be seeing that UP become the self-reliant in terms of manufacturing high quality medical technology, including the devices and diagnostic. So that prevention with Bhatt was mentioning, let it become the tool for success to enhance the expectancy of the life. I am quite confident the way the visionary government is in Uttar Pradesh, the way Honorable Chief Minister wants to see that UP become the favorable destination for manufacturing, for innovation and startups. This is the very, a conducive environment has been created by the CSIR to call all the young scientists to be under one roof, see how the startup, how the innovation could take place. And I invite all of you, the young scientists specifically, to come, see, utilize the facility which CSIR has created. And the Honorable CSIR, our Science Technology Minister, when I was in Srinagar, he mentioned he want to see that UP become a favorable destination for manufacturing of biologics also. I am quite confident with the help of the directors of CSIR, with the help of the best institution in cancer sector, plus other the top institutions in medical sciences and the NIPER together, we would be seeing that UP emerges as one of the favorable destinations for manufacturing, for innovation and for treatment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jain Singh. Those were really thoughtful and visionary words. We do need to see a transformation, and Uttar Pradesh can very well be a shining example of what innovation can do. In any innovation ecosystem, one of the first questions that innovators ask themselves is, do we have the right people to work with us and turn the innovation into a product? And this is where I come to you, Dr. Saraf, that as director of NIPER Raebareli and having a very key role in the education of pharmacy students, looking at India's emerging needs, which is, certainly new diagnostics and new drugs to treat, emerging conditions. What do you think need to be done differently, or what changes are you putting in place to keep in step with this need?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Radha Rangarajan, and the organizers, all the CSIR institutes for having invited me and given me this opportunity to speak today. Definitely, skilling has a large role to play, as you suggested, and without that skilled manpower, the Viksit Bharat, which we want to achieve, and we want to achieve it much before 2047, I'm sure, sooner the better. So definitely there are a lot of things which need to be put in place. I will divide your question into two parts. One, what are the issues that we face? And then what are the solutions that we have in place, and what are the solutions we would like to have in place? I'd like to discuss it this way. So coming to the issues that we face, I find our youth having a mindset which is not ready to take risks. Most often families and students, they prefer to have a job which gives them a definite salary at the end of the month, and they do not want that variability that you may or may not get something at the end of the month to run your home. So definitely that's a very honest concern, I'm sure. But what we need to do to address this issue is that probably create an ecosystem where we have the initial startup money that we can probably give those students, where they are not investing from their own pockets, where the government is giving them that initial push that's required, and once they have some solution which is able to break grounds, which is innovative, then probably venture capitals, everything follows on its own. Also, another mindset that I find pharmaceutical sciences or biological sciences students having is that innovation is for engineers. It is not for biology, not for pharmaceutical sciences. So I think that probably through conclaves like this one, we can address those issues and tell them, give them role models, like we have Dr. Sandeep Patil with us. We can have many more models talking about their success stories, so that it gives them that courage that you can take this leap of faith and something good can come out of it. Sometimes you may not have that innovator readily available with you to interact, but we can probably share those success stories through probably video conferencing or other means. Simply play that let us say the CAR-T cell therapy that started out from IIT Mumbai, and Professor Rahul Purwar, who started his own venture, and now it's already through CDSCO approved the clinical trials, and the first cohort of patients got that therapy, which was unimaginable, the cost that CAR-T therapy has. But India got it at so much lesser cost. So it's not just happening over there. CAR-T is one example, one shining example that we have. There are other examples that now we are making MRI machines. So what institutions like NIPERS and other institutions can do, and what we are doing at NIPER, I'd like to share with you. From this year itself, we started a course in MedTech innovation. So that is an MTech, MedTech innovation, where mostly it's biological sciences students who've come. What we want to give them is that they can collaborate with neighboring engineering colleges, they can collaborate with medical science institutes, pick up the problems from there. Like, let us say we want point-of-care devices, we want diagnostics, like you just mentioned. So to have that skilled workforce, we have to give them that ecosystem. And that ecosystem does not come from one institution alone. It cannot be just one CDRI or just one IITR or maybe a NIPER who can do it on their own. So on our own. So we also need the medical colleges, we need SGPGI, we need AIIMS Raebareli. Then we also need IIT Kanpur, we need IIM Lucknow to come together so that from the beginning to the end, we are able to handhold and see success coming out of these small ventures, one small idea that comes. The good thing about students is that they have fresh mindsets. There are no boxes that they have made for themselves. So definitely when there is this out-of-box thinking, there can be some very revolutionary ideas. And as you can see, there are so many things which have totally changed. We call them disruptive innovation. So disruptive innovation, I feel that has to always come from an innovator who has not been trained into thinking in a particular manner, that innovation takes place in step 1, 2, 3. There is no flow chart that has been given. Disruptive innovation has to come from disruptive thinking, and which can only come from young innovators who are sitting here, budding scientists who are sitting here, who can make it happen. So, and India has the potential. You saw vaccine Maitri that we did. So definitely at that point of time, we did not have emergency use authorization. We did not even have the rules in place. But we were very quick, we were very nimble. We came up with the innovations, and the innovations were so good that we were able to help so many other countries. So India has always lived in the ethos of Vasudev Kutumbakam, and I'm sure that that will help us to innovate not just for us but for the world. There are some schemes I don't like. Maybe we are running short of time, so yeah. Okay. So there is a scheme which is called PRIP, and it is a 5,000 crore scheme. So what I want to tell you is that the government is also giving a huge push to the healthcare sector through this PRIP scheme. This scheme is available for academia, it is available for industry, and it is available for startups. So there is so much already out there which one can make use of. The only thing is that we should be courageous enough to take that leap, and government is there to help, and then much can come out of this. So with these words, I'd hand you over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saraf. You hit many great points, and we certainly need both sides to rethink positions, for students to be willing to take a risk, for the system and the institutions to provide more of a safety net, for greater social acceptance, and a celebration of the startup culture, which is what this conclave is meant to do. This entire conclave is really intended to bring attention to startups, and to also bring attention to the fact that academic institutions like the CSIR laboratories, and indeed I'll speak on your behalf as well, NIPERS, you know, we really want to build the bridges as much as possible with startups, number one. Number two, we want to see translation of our product ideas through startups to take things out to the market faster. So changes are happening, but more needs to happen, and you talked also about new schemes from the government. Hopefully all of these catalyze changes in the right direction. So I'll now come to you, Dr. Sandeep Patil. You are actually, you are the centerpiece in some ways, representative of the startup ecosystem in our midst today. It's not easy to have and run a startup in India, even with all of the changes that have happened and the support that exists. It is still very, very much of an uphill battle. You can choose to talk about your journey in whichever way you think would be most illustrative to this audience, and we'll be happy to learn from your experiences, and then come back and comment.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all the dignitaries who are sitting on the dais and of the dais. As ma'am rightly mentioned about, it is not easy to start, but I would say it is little easy to start today rather than 2010. I started my journey in 2010 when I was doing a PhD at IIT Kanpur with Professor Ashutosh Sharma at Chemical Engineering Department. So 2010 was a time where there was no existence of Startup India and Stand-up India. But today, it's a big name and everything is available. Even if you want to register a company, you cannot do it from your place. You have to go one by other places, one of the other department, just to get and register your company name and get the approval. But today, it's very easy to start anything that you want to start. My journey is something like, I always wanted to do something because I'm coming from the background that's completely a farmer background. And I know the people who are living in those particular, economical stages, we need to connect science, technology with the society. So considering that, whatever work that I did during my PhD, it is translated 100%, completely translated to the commercial level. And today I must proudly say, we are covering 70% market in India and 50% market in Russia. So I started whatever I have developed during the PhD, and I must tell you this story because everyone plays a very key role in your journey. So my professor asked me when I was in 2010 and was discussing something, he asked me, what do you want to do? So he was expecting that I will answer that I want to do a PhD, as of course PhD and after that postdoc. But my answer was a little different. And I said, I don't want to go for the postdoc or neither for the professorship. I want to start something for my own research, and that should be translated to the community. And community should get benefited out of it. So he said, what do you want to do? So I said, I want to start a company. When you want to start the company? I said, whenever you will give me the PhD degree, I will start on that day. But see here, how it changes. He said, don't wait for your PhD. You will get PhD on time, you start company today. And I will give you money, whatever you want. So this is how it starts, So in this way, I started my company. And though we are talking about healthcare, so the technology that I'm working on today and that time also, it is nanofiber membrane technology, which can be used in multiple applications, including agriculture, including healthcare, including filtration technology, whatever you can talk about. But one thing that I developed that was related to nanofiber used in filtration, and that filtration is basically used in N95 mask. So started from the lab scale research to the industrial scale research, from industrial scale to the application. In 2017, I did work on nanofiber based antiviral antibacterial mask. That was published that time in 2017. There are multiple literatures and the newspapers are available. I never thought that this will be so hit in COVID. So it was only for the antiviral and antibacterial. And idea was how our healthcare can be benefited out of it, because we don't have that quality of the mask. Only 3M used to supply in entire India as a call N95 mask by 3M. And so decided that let's work on something that can be replaceable to the Indian market. And this is the one of the masks I came up. The advantage is that you can easily breathe, but at the same time you can separate the virus and the bacteria, even deactivate virus and bacteria. It is not only antiviral, antibacterial, but you can also deactivate. 2017, we are ready by 2019. We started manufacturing 5,000 masks per day, and suddenly the COVID came. So I wouldn't say it is a good for company, but it was opportunity for us. How one can replace the foreign market with our own indigenous product. And you can imagine, we started with 5,000 masks, and there was a sudden demand, not only from India, but outside of the India even. How we can cope up from 5,000 to 1 lakh masks per day or 50,000 masks per day. But there again, जहाँ झील होती है वहाँ, जहाँ व्हील और झील होती है वहाँ पे सब लोग एक साथ आ जाते हैं. So IIT Kanpur, I approached our director, sir, what is the situation, what to do? He said, whatever you want, I will give you. Okay. So IIT Kanpur given us a space to start commercial manufacturing. SBI given us a loan to get the machine from China, and Department of Science and Technology from Gujarat government, they help us. The machine that you want to import from China, we will offer you free of cost this thing, get machine from China, and we immediately start the manufacturing. Within 1 month of time, 1.5 months, from 5,000 masks, we started with 50,000 masks. So that is how, and not only that, when you work with the innovation, you work with the technology, not you are only for promote your product. Our IIT Kanpur, and when there was an occasion, our Prime Minister was stone laying ceremony at Ayodhya Puja, Ayodhya. So the mask, he was wearing the first mask from the technological innovations. That was our mask, that was Swasa N95 mask he was wearing during the Ayodhya Puja. And that was a big hit for us. And I would say it is not you are only working for the startups. Your entire system works for you if your intentions are right. So this is how my journey started. Started with zero money, I would say. My friends, my professors, banks, they have given me the money. Today, even I have not have any kind of investment in the company. Still, company valuation is 500 crores. And we are reaching to the next level. We have more than 80 people working with us, CSIR-NBRI approved facility. So it is not something that you always look for the funding, no. If you have a good business model, you can easily convert your business into the revenue model. So with these notes, thank you so much. And I just want to, lastly, want to mention, so this is a healthcare related. हमारे संस्कृत में एक बहुत ही अच्छा श्लोक है, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कच्छन्तु भगवते. So it is something, it is not only that your arogya ही आपका सब कुछ है. So it is something related to, we should work for the affordable, not only healthcare, but affordable healthcare should be connected with each and every person of this country. That is what is the motivation that we have, and I impose that motivation here that everyone has. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep Patil. That was a really heartwarming story. It also tells us that if you're in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity, the universe aligns and makes things happen. And that is reflected in the way that your technology found its place in the market. Of course, during COVID times, which was a very dark period for our country, but then beyond, it has really spurred your company's growth. And it's also an example of how stakeholders can very quickly align with the right kind of stimulus or in the right situation. So we are running out of time, but we started a few minutes late, so I have asked for an extra 5 minutes. So in this last round, I'll request you to limit your comments to 1 minute only. And please reflect on the following thought, that if we have to progress in India and build high-quality, innovative products in healthcare, what we need most urgently is for various stakeholders to really come together and work together. And we've not been very good at it all the time. Dr. Patil's example stands out as an exception almost. So from each of your perspectives, just 1 minute on what you think would be the magic masala that we need to create in order to get stakeholders to work together. Jane Singh, you go.
Thank you, ma'am. And really, it was very exciting hearing Dr. Patil. Only one thing I would like to mention over here. This is the right time for everyone to enter into the innovative and manufacturing field, because the ecosystem which the government has created is wonderful. All the policies, regulatory reforms, and the infrastructure development which has taken place in this country and Uttar Pradesh specifically, is the right time for the young minds and the young scientists to come they may form their own company. My request would be the way Dr. Patil did in IIT Kanpur. I would be requesting all of the young scientists who are sitting, they should start their own companies. They should start whatever the work they did. They should think how it can be translated into the product and services. I was inquiring with Patil ji what was his PhD thesis. He told me that whatever he did in PhD, the same thing he commercialized. So this is the right time for each one of us who are in scientific fraternity. It may be in healthcare sector, in agriculture, in defense, anywhere you want. My request would be start thinking to have your own company, to have your business model, and make India a self-reliant nation.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Dr. Bhatt, 1 minute only.
Thank you, ma'am. So, most of the things have already been told by the honorable panelists and Madam Radha. What I want to tell that for the quick outcome-based fast-forward journey, all the stakeholders have to join hands together. The government machinery, academia, research institutes of biomedical engineering, the institutes of technology, and then drug industry, then research institutions, medical research institutions, healthcare delivery, and then ultimately the startup innovation, and with the involvement of civil society, and lastly but the most importantly, the involvement of corporate world. The CSR fund is most of the time it's going for creating big buildings and big structure. If there could be provision for funding the startups by the corporate CSR responsibility, so that will be really a game changer in the country. Government should also take lot of decision to take the risk by sponsoring the startup funding and without any much of collaterals on all those being taken. So all these young minds have lot of ideas to translate, and that is the probably best way to move forward in a fast manner for the best care. And one example, because 1 minute I have already crossed, like very remote area of the hinterland of the country in the forested, the mountainous region, we need to have the cold chain for vaccine. So solar driven, the cold chain maintaining machines, refrigerators could be one thing. Another thing, safe drinking water required in the remote area of the Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. So we can have all the scientific community, engineering and the research institution joining hand together, CDRI, IIT Kanpur, and the medical persons will just verifying that you have done the job correctly, there is sufficient coliform count and everything. So we have to take all these. Drinking water is very important. Safe Shaushalaya is very important for health. They are much more important than many of the molecular research being undertaken. So everything has to be taken in totality. So that is the way forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhatt. Dr. Saraf.
Yeah, so that one line which I have to say to the young budding scientists is, take the plunge for entrepreneurship. Even if you fail, I'm sure the experience that you gain will get you your next job. So don't worry what is going to happen in future. Take it as a part of your learning, as a part of your skilling, and take that plunge. And to the institutes and the organizations like CSIR, CDRI, IITR, etc., please allow your students, the PhD scholars, to have startups as their thesis projects. So probably that will be one thing, that they have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of time to develop that idea, and probably they can be marked on the quality of the idea and the degree be given. So probably that's one way which could happen if we all decide to do it that way. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saraf. Dr. Patil.
Thank you, ma'am. So people who are sitting here, so I would say you just have to give your 2 years of time just to test yourself, and that can be anything in the startup area. So it is something just, out of the box thinking. It is no. There is no box, so your thinking is limitless, one. Second point is that I want to mention here, the quality manufacturing. We have the innovation platform is very strong in India, but the quality manufacturing we are basically in lack of particularly. So quality manufacturing will only come from the cluster domain, and the if government can work on that particularly, if it can be cluster-based manufacturing can be done, that will be really good. Second, we always have a startup conclave, but we never have the IP conclave. So if you can initiate that, IP means open up your innovations and call the people, industries, and everyone. IP means like whatever innovation is done by CSIR labs, whatever innovation is done by IITs, or whatever innovations, there should be a conclave of innovation. It is not only a conclave of startup. Innovation, we can come, we can see if any innovation is liking us or it is interested to us, we can take it forward. So this should be at least initiated from the institutional level. And of course, I said, Singh sir is here. Cluster-based manufacturing is very needed in India because there where packaging, I want to say packaging is not something packaging. Packaging is something where how we can innovation fit into the good aesthetically look boxes or aesthetically look good things. So that is missing in India, so we can have that particularly. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patil. We can go on for several hours, but the next panel discussion has to start as well. There have been some excellent and very interesting points that we've all raised here, including the unmet need in healthcare, the unmet capabilities which we need to fill, the unmet mindsets that need to be addressed, and enabling policies that are taking off in the state, which need all of us to work together in order to make successful. So for the students in the audience, I hope that you have found something interesting, something insightful, and something inspirational to take back and to think about your own careers in light of how the world itself has changed and what new opportunities await you. And for the faculty and scientists in the audience, I hope there were takeaways for you to say that your own research programs and your research interests could be shaped perhaps by the emerging realities in healthcare. With that, I thank you all for your attention, and I thank particularly Dr. Anil Gaikwad and Dr. Ritu Trivedi for being instrumental in getting us all together for this interesting panel discussion. My heartfelt gratitude to all the panelists here. You've been fabulous to talk with, and I'm sure we'll continue this conversation later on off stage. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Dr. Radharangarajan, for summarizing the overall discussion today, and I hope it has ignited spirit in the young minds, and it will be very beneficial to all of us. So with this, I would like to take the opportunity to felicitate all our guests today. So I request Dr. Ritu to come on the stage and felicitate. Starting with Dr. G.N. Singh, Dr. Ritu will be felicitating Dr. G.N. Singh for graciously accepting our invitation and being present at the occasion. Thank you so much. Dr. M.L.B. Bhatt, Director of Kalyan Singh Super Speciality Cancer Hospital. So thank you, Dr. Bhatt, being here and gracing the occasion. Dr. Shubhini Saraf, Director, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education. Thank you so much, Madam, for being here and gracing the occasion for today's panel discussion. And last not least, Dr. Sandeep Patil. He's been. Thank you for being here and inspiring students. So students, take a lesson. While doing PhD, one can establish a company of 500 crore worth. So you have to take the spirit and go back to home. So with this, I thank every panelist and Dr. Radha Rangarajan for conducting this session, and thank you all. Thank you so much.
There is a break, tea break for 10 minutes. We are running short of time, so I request all of you to assemble again within 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
important theme for both CSIR as well as for the Vikasit Bharat, and it actually has three different areas: agri, nutrition and biotechnology. So keeping in mind, we have a very esteemed panelist. So now I welcome all the panelists and request them to please take their seat. So Dr. Prabodh, can you please?
Check. Hello.
So,
hello. Check. Hello.
So in today's panel discussion, we have a chairman, Dr. Sanjay Kumar. He is a chairperson of ASRB. Then we have Professor Mayank Awasthi. He is a professor in IIM Lucknow, and he is taking care of agri-business management. Then we have Raghav Agarwal, who is a MD, Good Morning Bread. We have Mr. V.K. Verma, Director MSME, and the entire panel discussion will be coordinated by Dr. Prabodh Trivedi, Director CIMAP. So now I request Dr. Prabodh to welcome each of our guests with a bouquet of flowers. So starting with Dr. Sanjay Kumar. And Professor Mayank Agarwal. Mr. V.K. Verma. And Raghav Agarwal. So now I request Dr. Prabodh Trivedi to take over.
So, good morning everyone. So, this session is very important, which is related to Agri, Nutri and Biotech. And here we will be discussing what are the country's needs and how we are going to fulfill those things. We have very esteemed panelists here, and Dr. Sanjay Kumar, Chairperson ASRB, will be chairing this session. I hope that this session will be useful and come out with good recommendation basically after this concluding this session. So I invite Dr. Sanjay Kumarji to chair this session, and maybe he can introduce all the panelists. Dr. Sanjay Kumar.
Good morning to you all. You all able to listen something at the back? So, welcome to this panel discussion. And you will all agree that this theme, Agri-Nutri Biotechnology theme,
I think is one of the most important theme as far as nation is concerned. Some of you who are in CSIR from very long time, you will all recall that in 2018 in CSIR, we had started working based on themes like environment theme, and Agri-Nutri Biotech theme was one of them. And at that time, all the theme directors used to be elected. They were, elected candidates of the directors, all theme directors. It was not that somebody would come and nominate them. They were all the elected candidates of directors. And then we decided, we used to meet together, and initially, if you recall, in our Agri-Nutri Biotech theme, we had devised 9 different areas where this theme should focus upon. And under that theme, the idea was creation of value chain. And value chain approach was always followed, whether it was, suppose we say that we want to work on a particular crop, we will never limit ourselves only on production side, but production to processing and ultimately to the market. And all the care was taken that in between, if we had to take care of storage, if we had to do value addition, if we had to do packaging, all those things will be taken care of. And I must tell that in today's scenario, if you see our national scenario, and if you compare our national scenario from what we were during the time of independence, I think it is agriculture which played a more significant role in terms of attaining self-reliance as far as agriculture is concerned. You might recall in 75 years back approximately, we were hardly producing 51 million tons of food grains, and today we are producing 332 millions. So can you imagine this more than 6-fold enhancement in food grain production? It matters a lot. If you remember, at that time we used to buy fruits only when we would fall sick, but today we eat fruit so that we don't fall sick. That scenario change has taken place. At that time we were producing only 25 million ton, and today we are producing 353 million ton, and that's a huge production that we have achieved as far as agriculture is concerned. Even if you see things like milk production, earlier we were producing only 17 million ton, but today if you see our milk production is around 240 million ton. Everybody is getting milk to drink, and this is not a small achievement what our agriculture sector has made. Even if you see that sunrise sector, what we call as fish, hardly we were producing 0.8 million ton, and today we are producing more than 18 million ton. And once you are achieving such feats, I think it is very significant. And not only raw material, today even if you see our processing industry, they are coming in a very large manner. You take up any industry, but still there is lot of gap. And when we conceptualize this A and B theme, we said that we should take care of various issues where agriculture is facing. Today it is not only a question of meeting our food requirement, it is also a question of meeting our nutritional requirement. And using some of the tools like biotechnology, I think that can aid a lot. And with this brief background, I thought that I should directly come to our panelist. And I was so happy that Dr. Mayakant Awasthi ji as a panelist is with us, and who is in agri-business management at IIM Jammu, IIM Lucknow. Dr. Awasthi ji, and in fact, right now I am in ASRB, and Dr. Awasthi ji is frequent visitor of ASRB in selecting various candidates. Dr. Awasthi ji, I was just wondering about 2-3 queries about this Agri-Nutri Biotech theme. And particularly since this session is on startups. And for startups, I think scalability and sustainability. These two issues are very, very important. If you talk of a startup, we can do a startup, but if our technologies do not have scalability, then probably they may do some, they may fail at times in between. So what I was wondering, if you have any business model innovations which is needed so that our scalability as well as sustainability is not affected for our startup. That one small query, I wanted to have your views on that.
Okay, but before that I would like to add two points. Why this agri is very important. Why this agri is very important because this is the only sector where demand is not the issue. Because in every sector, when income increases, demand increases. When income comes down, demand comes down. But then this is the sector which is inflation proof, income proof, which we have seen in case of even in COVID time. This was the only sector which was showing the positive growth. So that means if you start your entrepreneurial activity in this sector, there is no scope whatsoever that ever you will feel a demand of lack of demand. But the problem is that market has changed. So simply having the demand is not sufficient. You have to produce the product which people want and what people want, because when income increases, they want value-add product or the product of particular type, which can be created only through technology. For example, you require particular type of the fruit, particular shape of the fruit, particular texture in the fruit, particular shape of the fruit. All these product features, they can be created only through biotechnology, because biotechnology is the only means of product creation. We don't have the option of now creating or increasing the productivity. Productivity increases, your profit will increase. No, you may have a situation where you have the product, but then people are not buying it. Demand is there, product is there, but people are not buying. Why? Because you may not have the product which people want. So that is the reason it is golden time. Golden time when you have the wonderful opportunity of doing business. Second point, before I answer sir's question, is that what happened? Food market is shifting from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere. Western countries, Europe, North America, they already have saturation in the food market. This is the market which is growing. So you are at the right place, you are at the right time. So that is the reason it makes wonderful area to start any type of the entrepreneurial activity. Now in order of sustainability and scalability, there are two things which you have to keep in mind. You are dealing with live product. When you are dealing with the live product, two issues. You have to manage the supply chain, because if you are not managing the supply chain, what will happen? You will lose, when product will reach at the consumer's table, you will lose the quality, or you may lose the possibility or potential of the high price realization. So that means you have to manage the supply chain. If you have to manage the supply chain, you have to use modern technology like supply chain, blockchain, because now business environment has changed. If you want to sell your product, say for example in Europe, there is a lot of criteria, there are a lot of parameters which you have to fulfill. For example, one criteria is that you have to trace back from where it is coming. If someone is buying the apple, they should be in a position to trace back from where it is coming, from which orchard it is coming. That is very, very critical now. So that means without the modern technology, without the use of the most modern technologies, you can't really manage the supply chain efficiently, because that will have the impact on three things. One, it will have the impact on quality, product stability, and also price realization potential. So these are the three key aspects which is also important from the sustainability point of view, because they will determine your costing structure, they will determine your product acceptability, they will also determine the volume. So one very important aspect is that if you want to survive in this market, you have to customize your product, and for customization you have to use the technology. Simply producing the fruit is not sufficient. You have to produce the fruit which people want, And for that you have to use the biotechnology, because that is the only thing, only option which you have. You can produce any product in industry through factory, but this is the product where nature is the factory. If you want to create certain feature in the product, you have to use the technology, and that is the reason it is very important from the sustainability point of view, from the scalability point of view, that your product should be adaptable to the market situations. What consumer want, that you have to produce. That will ensure the sustainability, that will also attract the resources which is required for scalability, that will also ensure that product is not rejected in the market. So I think key is use maximum possible technology in product configuration or product designing. Even now food market has product designing. You require particular type of the fruit, consumer require particular type of the taste, consumer require particular type of the color. So these are only the features which you have to create in order to strengthen sustainability. So biotechnology is very crucial, because that is the way you can create the value. That is the way you can ensure the sustainability of your business. Because unless you create the value through product customization, you can't really sustain the market, because consumer has changed, market has changed. So I think this is very important that you basically combine the technology to create the product that will automatically ensure the sustainability part and also scalability part, because resources will be automatically attracted to that enterprise where they see the future. So that is my humble submission, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Awasthi. I think your point is very well taken, and maybe once we come at the end, then we will try to sum it off. Now we have Dr. Verma with us, who is the director at MSME. And let me tell you, MSME had been very helpful when I was at Palampur in terms of generating livelihood, particularly in our rural setup. We had technologies, but if we cannot take them to the stakeholder because of lack of funds, I think that will be shame on us. And at that time, MSME came as a great aid. We used to make clusters, and using that cluster approach, we were very, very, helpful in terms of taking our technologies, and certainly MSME helped us a lot. So in that regard, Dr. Verma ji, I just wanted to ask you, maybe for the benefit of all, that you will agree that in India, MSME is going to play a very vital role as far as our economy is concerned. And I just wonder if you can tell us that A&B startups and MSME, how they can partner together so that our rural economies is improved and also it will generate employment. That will be my first query from you.
थैंक यू सर। मैं आदरणीय मंच का, आप दी मंच सभी लोगों का जो इस प्रोग्राम में आज मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि एमएसएमई मंत्रालय की तरफ से मुझे यहाँ आने का अवसर मिला। और मैं आप लोग जैसा कि सर बता रहे थे कि एमएसएमई का जो है, ये जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं, इनका फाइनल एम क्या है? एंटरप्राइजिंग करना या अपने आप को एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप डेवलप करना। मैं आपके माध्यम से, इस मंच के माध्यम से बताना चाहूँगा कि भारत सरकार एमएसएमई मंत्रालय ने बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव लिया हुआ है। और आप लोग जानते हैं कि जो है आज के विगत वर्षों के पूर्व में जो है किस तरह से इंटरप्राइजेस डेवलप करने के लिए हम लोगों को कठिनाइयाँ होती थी। उसका पहला एग्जाम्पल है, फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल है कि इंटरप्राइजेस के रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए हम लोगों को ऑफिसों के चक्कर लगाने पड़ते थे। उसके लिए भारत सरकार ने बहुत सरलीकरण किया हुआ है कि उद्यम के माध्यम से, आधार के माध्यम से अपने आप को रजिस्टर करके अपने इंटरप्राइजेस को एक्नॉलेज कर सकते हैं। उसके बाद सारे बेनिफिट्स जितने भी मंत्रालय के द्वारा है, अभी मैं उसमें चर्चा कर रहा हूँ। आज चूंकि स्टार्टअप्स का ये सब्जेक्ट है, तो मैं अपने स्टार्टअप्स को आज इस मंच के माध्यम से बताना चाहता हूँ कि भारत सरकार ने बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स आपके लिए लिया हुआ है और उस इनिशिएटिव में जैसा कि आप लोग जानते हैं, इस तरह से हमारे मंत्रालय के द्वारा बहुत सारे होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूशन हैं। हम लोग जो है सीमैप से भी जुड़े हुए हैं। सीमैप के द्वारा हम लोग स्किल डेवलपमेंट, स्पेशल स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप को बढ़ावा दिया जाए। तो इस तरह से सक्सेसफुली हम रन कर रहे हैं। हमारे जैसा कि मैंने बताया बहुत सारे होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट हैं जो कि स्टार्टअप को हम लोग हेल्प करते हैं इनक्यूबेशन के माध्यम से। वहाँ पे भारत सरकार ने जो IITs हैं या NITs हैं उनको आज होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट रिकग्नाइज किया हुआ है। हमारे IIT के माध्यम से हम लोगों ने जो है जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं उसको जो है भारत सरकार अभी देखा होगा हैकाथॉन 5 के माध्यम से जो कुछ आइडियाज है उसको हम लोग इंक्यूबेट कराते हैं उस होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट IIT या जिस तरह के हमारे रिकग्नाइज इंस्टीट्यूट हैं। तो वहाँ पे भारत सरकार 15 लाख का जो है होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट के माध्यम से हमारे इनक्यूबेटी को उसको जो है सपोर्ट दिया जाता है, जिससे जो है अपने जो है इंटरप्राइजेज को या अपने प्रोडक्ट को डेवलप कर सके। साथ साथ अगर कोई डिजाइनिंग प्रोडक्ट की डिजाइनिंग करनी है तो उसी होस्ट इंस्टीट्यूट के माध्यम से 80,000 तक का जो है उस पर हम लोग रिम्बर्समेंट का प्रोसेस किए हुए हैं। साथ में जो है हम लोग जो है अगर मान लीजिए आप लोगों को किसी तरह का IP कराना है, इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट आप लोग बहुत अच्छी तरह जानते होंगे, पेटेंट कराना है किसी प्रोडक्ट का 1 लाख तक का जो है इंडियन के लिए जो है पेटेंटिंग के लिए हम लोग रिम्बर्स करते हैं। साथ साथ 5 लाख जो है वो जो है हम लोग जो अगर आप अब्रॉड कराते हैं या विदेशों में कराते हैं उसके लिए जो है हम लोग हेल्प करते हैं। साथ साथ ट्रेडमार्क जो किसी प्रोडक्ट के रिकग्निशन के लिए किसी यूनिट को रिकग्निशन के लिए आपको ट्रेडमार्क कराना होता है उसके लिए 10,000 का रिम्बर्समेंट होता है। तो इस तरह के जो हमारे न्यू स्टार्टअप्स हैं उनके लिए इस तरह का इनिशिएटिव लिया गया है और हमको ऐसी आशा है कि आप लोग जो है इसके बारे में थोड़ा और जानकारी लीजिए। हमारा एक फील्ड ऑफिस जो है कानपुर में स्थापित है, वहाँ पे इसके माध्यम से आप जो है क्लेम करके, और सारे जितना मैं स्कीम बता रहा हूँ सब ऑनलाइन है, फिजिकली जो है आपको ऑफिस में आने की आवश्यकता नहीं। सॉरी भाई, एक चीज और यहाँ पे शेयर करना चाहता हूँ कि जिस तरह से आप मान लीजिए स्टार्टअप है, इंटरप्राइजिंग आप लोगों का सेटअप हो गया, हम लोग जो है मार्केटिंग के लिए सपोर्ट करते हैं। मार्केटिंग जो है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है और उसके बिना सारे यूनिट्स हमारे फेल होते हैं। तो मार्केटिंग PMS है, उसमें जो है जितने एग्जीबिशन ऑल ओवर इंडिया में लगते हैं उसमें हम अपने MSCs को पार्टिसिपेट कराते हैं और उस पार्टिसिपेशन में जो भी खर्चे होते हैं अप टू 1.5 लाख का उसको हम लोग रिम्बर्समेंट करते हैं। साथ साथ जो है हम जो है बारकोडिंग, प्रोडक्ट के बारकोडिंग के लिए 100 बारकोड अगर आप लेते हैं तो 3 साल तक रिन्यूअल फीस। साथ साथ जो है हम लोग जो है उस प्रोडक्ट का जो है मार्केटिंग जो ट्रेडमार्क का कास्ट है 50,000 तक का हम रिम्बर्समेंट कराते हैं। तो इस तरह से स्कीमों हैं जिससे हमारे न्यू जो इंटरप्राइजिंग है सर उसका फायदा लेके जो है अपने आप को इस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं। अभी सर ने बताया कि क्लस्टर का जो है स्कीम है, आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं कि भारत सरकार की क्लस्टर स्कीम जो है हम लोग 2 तरह से करते हैं, एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट और एक जो है यूनिटें अगर है एक सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट अगर कोई बना रहा है, जैसे हमने यहाँ पे देखा भी जो है आप लोगों का स्टॉल भी देखा, तो ये एग्रो प्रोडक्ट है और इसमें काफी हद तक सिमिलरिटीज है। तो इन लोगों को लेके जो है हम लोग जो है क्लस्टर डेवलप कर सकते हैं और उसके लिए भारत सरकार का जो है 30 करोड़ तक का जो है ग्रांट एंड का प्रोविजन है। तो हमारा ये एक जो है उन्नाव में कभी आप लोगों को लगता है तो जरी जरदोजी क्लस्टर है, ऑलरेडी डेवलप हुआ है। तो इस तरह से हम लोगों का एक स्टेक होल्डर बना के हम लोग उसके माध्यम से भी डेवलप कर सकते हैं। साथ साथ अभी नए कॉन्सेप्ट आ गए हैं, फ्लैटेड फैक्ट्री कॉम्प्लेक्स। अभी आप लोग देखते होंगे कि जो है हम लोग स्कैटर्ड वे में काम करते हैं, तो फ्लैटेड फैक्ट्री का कॉन्सेप्ट आया हुआ है। हम कानपुर में दादा नगर में ऑलरेडी जो है इस तरह की इस्टेब्लिश कर चुके हैं और यहाँ पे जो है ताल कटोरा स्टेडियम में भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ स्थापित कर रहे हैं। तो इस तरह से बहुत सारे नए इनिशिएटिव्स जो है भारत सरकार द्वारा लिया जा रहा है। हम जितने यहाँ पे स्टार्टअप हैं, हमारे जितने भी प्रोफेसर महोदय, हम जो है सीमेप के डायरेक्टर साहब से, एनबीआरआई से मैं बार बार रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ। अभी हम जो है सीमेप के साथ एक कार्यक्रम एक्सपोर्ट भी करने जा रहे हैं। आप लोग जानते हैं कि सीमेप एक्सपोर्ट में जो है एमएससीज का जो है 45% का कंट्रीब्यूशन है। तो
Thank you, Dr. Verma Sahab. I think, so in nutshell, I can feel that I think in our A&B theme, there are several opportunities which can be strengthened by your participation, particularly our startups. So thank you so much. So, Raghav Agarwal ji, without you, whatever we do, it is of no use. So, welcome. But I would like to know one or two things from you. You know, you must be facing some hurdles. So I wanted to know particularly what hurdles you face when it comes to the acceptance by the consumers, number one. Secondly, in terms of technology adoption. And third, on the regulatory approvals in introducing any biotech-based food products. So these are 2 or 3 important points. I thought I'll take your opinion, because every startup used to ask me, if we have developed this, how it goes to the market, what regulatory approvals will be needed. And we actually had faced, sometimes something is not mentioned in the regulatory book, some name is missing, then they won't approve it. So I just wanted to know from first and from you in this area.
Thank you, Sanjay sir. And I would also like to thank CSIR for giving us this opportunity and my fellow panelists for discussing on this very important topic. And I think the power of nutrition is something very important for the India to discuss at this moment. Because जिस स्पीड से हम आगे भी बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन उस स्पीड से हम पीछे भी हो सकते हैं. क्योंकि when it comes to nutrition, it is very paramount that we understand at what level we are facing the deficiencies. और main deficiencies हैं क्या? और इस माध्यम से, इस मंच के माध्यम से मैं ये भी बताऊंगा कि आज जो आपकी deficiencies हैं, उस पे हमारी भारत सरकार काम कर रही है. लगभग पिछले आपके 10 सालों से 2014 में CSIR के पास एक क्रॉप थी जो कि बायोफर्टिफाइड थी. आज हम 2025 में बैठे हैं, nearly 85+ crops have been biofortified. And being the industrialist and being into the food processing sector, I think it is now the responsibility of the food processing to understand how the value creation has to go on. हम लोग आज मिलेट वगैरह कह रहे हैं कि मिलेट खाइए, मिलेट दीजिए न्यूट्रिशन के लिए, बट उसको अप्रोचेबल नहीं है. हम लोग ने मिलेट को और प्रीमियम कर दिया कि नहीं, अब मिलेट खाना है तो आई हैव टू स्पेंड 50 रुपीज इंस्टेड ऑफ 10 रुपीज. तो आज जो लेस न्यूट्रिशियस फूड है वो चीपर स्केल पे बिक रहा है, और जो न्यूट्रिशियस फूड है उसका प्राइसिंग हाई रख दी गई. ये जो प्रीमियमाइजेशन हुआ है इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट की तरफ से, दिस इज समथिंग विच हैज अफेक्टेड द न्यूट्रिशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इन इंडिया राइट नाउ. इसको देखते हुए हमारी कंपनी ने अभी हाल ही में डेवलप करा है बायोफर्टिफाइड बिस्किट्स, जो कि 5 से 10 रुपए की रेंज में हैं. इसमें मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा, बायोफर्टिफाइड जिंक रिच आपका वीट यूज हुआ है, आपका ज्वार यूज हुआ है, आयरन रिच बाजरा यूज हुआ है, इवन रागी यूज हुआ है. ये सब बायोफर्टिफाइड क्रॉप के बिस्किट्स हैं. और मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि हमारे को इसको बनाने में कोई भी कॉस्ट की ऐसी डिफरेंस नहीं आई है. एंड माई कंपनी इंटेंड टू सेल इट एट अ वेरी नॉर्मलाइज्ड रेट, क्योंकि हमें जो एक विजन रखनी है कि इट्स नॉट दैट कि हम लोग को क्या खाना है, हमारे से जो नीचे लोग हैं उनको हम कैसे पहुंचाएं, उनको पहुंचाने के लिए हमें फोकस रखना है. जहां तक सर चैलेंजेस की बात है कंज्यूमर की, सर कंज्यूमर को प्रोडक्ट ही वही देना है जो वो डेली यूज कर रहा है. हम उसको स्पेशल प्रोडक्ट ला के दे कोई फायदा नहीं है. वो डेली ब्रेड खाता है, डेली बिस्किट खाना ही खाना है उसको. तो जो हमारा बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन है, नियरली 35% या 18% लोग जो हैं हमारे पास, उनको टारगेट हमें करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. उनके लिए यही चीज़ अप्रोचेबल है. आज भी वो 2 रुपए का पार्ले जी खाता है, तो उसके लिए बिस्किट हो गए, ब्रेड हो गए. आप समझिए, मैं इंडस्ट्री चला रहा हूँ, लेकिन आज भी मेरी जो प्रोडक्शन है वो 10 रुपए की ब्रेड की ज़्यादा है। क्यों? क्योंकि एक जो व्यक्ति जो आज हमारे पॉवर्टी पे हैं उसके लिए आसान है कि 10 रुपए की ब्रेड खोली, 4 लोगों ने 4-4 स्लाइस बांटी, खा के ख़त्म करा। अगर हम उस लेवल पे कर दें न्यूट्रिशन को इंटीग्रेट, तो उसी की हैबिट नहीं चेंज करानी, हमें अपना प्रोडक्ट चेंज करने की अब ज़रूरत है। और इसके लिए आई थिंक CSR हैज़ बीन वर्किंग ऑन इट वेरी एक्सटेंसिवली। जैसे मैंने स्टार्टिंग में भी बताया, एक क्रॉप से CSR ने स्टार्ट किया था और आज 85+ क्रॉप्स हम लोग के पास आ गए हैं बायोफर्टिफाइड, और यही चीज़ हमारी डाइट को सस्टेनेबल कर रही है। साथ ही साथ अगर हम बात करें सर चैलेंजेस की कि इस क्रॉप को कहाँ उगाया जाए, तो आई थिंक द वर्ल्ड हैज़ चेंज फिनोमिनली। आज आप देखो चाइना में 20 स्टोरी वर्टिकल फार्मिंग हो गई। 20 स्टोरी वर्टिकल फार्मिंग में 100 एकड़ लैंड की जगह में खाली आप समझिए 10,000 स्क्वायर फुट की जगह में उन्होंने बना दिया। तो अर्बन एंड रूरल कलेक्शन हैज ऑलरेडी स्टार्टेड हैपनिंग, whereas I think UP government has been promoting nearly 8,000 self-help groups, which is extensively led by women, which are giving education on the nutrition. I think if we are even able to reduce by 1% जो हमारा माल न्यूट्रिशन का है फैक्टर, अगर हम 1% सर करते हैं तो 10,000 करोड़ बचता है हमारा आज की डेट में। और यूपी बीइंग द हार्ट ऑफ इट, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम अग्रसर रहें उस चीज़ को पकड़ के चले कि भाई हमें अपने स्टेट को पहले न्यूट्रलाइज करना है। आज समझिए सर 35 करोड़ की हमारी जनता हो रही है यूपी में, अगर हम इसी को सुधार ले तो देश का एक बहुत बड़ा चंक हम बचा रहे हैं। एंड आई थिंक माई गवर्नमेंट टुडे हियर इज डूइंग इन दैट डायरेक्शन ओनली, एंड इनिशिएटिव्स लाइक दीज आर गोइंग टू प्रमोट द न्यूट्रिशन and knowledge and education both among the people and the general public as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Raghavji. Thank you very much for being so precise and so impactful. Thank you. So, Dr. Prabodh, you have been leading now this ANB theme, and your institute has done so wonderful work as far as ANB theme is concerned. So, I had one query from you, that can you tell us what are the initiatives of CSIR to improve crop varieties, and what kind of traits are under consideration using biotechnology and even latest technology like CRISPR? You might be aware very recently ICR has released 2 varieties of rice using CRISPR-Cas. So what about CSIR? Where are we now?
थैंक यू सर। जैसा कि आपको पता है कि CSIR के जितने भी प्लांट्स के इंस्टीट्यूट थे, ब्रीडिंग या म्यूटेशन ब्रीडिंग से उन्होंने काफ़ी वैरायटीज इन पास निकाली, लेकिन आप क्रिस्पर काइस की बात कर रहे थे, और क्रिस्पर थोड़ा सा फास्ट होता है, दो रेगुलेटरी कंसर्न आर स्टिल देयर, बट जो CSIR ने एक प्रोजेक्ट चालू किया है प्लांट जीनोम एडिटिंग इन प्लांट्स, और उसमें काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट क्रॉप्स हमने ले रखी हैं। जैसे कॉटन है, कॉटन में जो फ्लावरिंग होती है वो सिंक्रोनाइज नहीं होती है, उसके लिए NBRI काफ़ी जोरों से उस पर काम कर रहा है कि किस तरीके से कॉटन की फ्लावरिंग को सिंक्रोनाइज किया जाए और किस तरीके से उसको फ्रेंडली बनाया जाए कि ईल्ड एंड जो पिकिंग के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा हो। इसके अलावा राइस पे 3 इंस्टीट्यूट CSIR के काम कर रहे हैं, NBRI हुआ, CCM भी हुआ और निस जोरहट हुआ, और वो एबायोटिक स्ट्रेस एंड बायोटिक स्ट्रेस, तो नंबर ऑफ जीन्स उन्होंने लिए, किस तरीके से उनको म्यूटेट करके, चाहे वो बायोटिक स्ट्रेस हो, चाहे ड्रॉट हो या दूसरे स्ट्रेस हो, एबायोटिक स्ट्रेस में फंगल रेजिस्टेंस है या जो दूसरे इंसेक्ट होते हैं उनके लिए किस तरीके से राइस को इम्प्रूव किया जा सकता है। NBRI वर्क कर रहा है कि आर्सेनिक का एक्युमुलेशन कैसे कम किया जा सकता है, विच इज़ ए वेरी गुड एरिया जिसमें कि NBRI काम कर रहा है। इसके अलावा टोमेटो में अगर देखें तो NBRI, CIMAP, निस जोरहट मिलके काम कर रहे हैं, और उसमें ऐसा है कि किस तरीके से रूट आर्किटेक्चर को इम्प्रूव किया जाए, न्यूट्रिशनल क्वालिटी बढ़ाई जाए या राइपनिंग को डिले किया जाए। ये 3 ट्रेड्स लिए गए हैं और जिसमें कि कोशिश की जा रही है टोमेटो को इम्प्रूव किया जाए। CIMAP ने टोबैको में किस तरीके से निकोटीन लेवल कम किया जा सकता है, तो जीनोम एडिटिंग के थ्रू उसको करते हुए करीब 70% तक निकोटीन लेवल उसमें कम किया है। काफी सारे मेडिसिनल प्लांट, चाहे विदनिया हो या ऑसिमम हो, आर्टिमिशिया एनवा हो, ISBT ने टी लिया है, कैनबिस प्लांट जो कि काफी इंपॉर्टेंट प्लांट फ्यूचर के लिए है, NBRI, CMAP और IIIM जम्मू, तीनों एक साथ मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं किस तरीके से कैनबिस में जीनोम एडिटिंग की जा सकती है, जिस तरीके से जो THC लेवल है उसको कम किया जा सके। तो ये CSIR का इनिशिएटिव है कि नंबर ऑफ क्रॉप्स लिया है, चाहे वो प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ाने के लिए हो, स्ट्रेस टॉलरेंस के लिए हो, बायोटिक एबायोटिक दोनों चीज़ों के लिए, न्यूट्रिशनल क्वालिटी बढ़ानी हो, तो इन सब चीज़ों को लेके एक तरीके से जो CMAP ये CSIR का विजन है, किस तरीके से इन इंपॉर्टेंट क्रॉप्स को लेके थ्रू जीनोम एडिटिंग कैसे इंप्रूव किया जा सकता है।
Thank you so much. I think you will all agree that all our panelists, they gave us very rich insights. And I'll just try to sum up your messages into 4 or 5 words. First of all, Dr. Awasthiji very clearly said that without innovative business model, it will be very difficult to take the startups in the forward direction. So, that's how your idea of business model is certainly important. So, whenever we talk to any startup, certainly their business model need to be discussed thoroughly to take it forward. Without MSME support, without policy and finances, I think these are very vital to nurture our young entrepreneurs. And particularly that is the most challenging stage where MSME comes forward and does the whole lending. So, Dr. Prabodhji, I think in times to come, if there is some method that you integrate MSME as part of our A&B theme, that will be very, very crucial. And certainly, Dr. Raghav made a point that without value addition and without food processing, agriculture alone may not be, cannot be lead to development of these startups. So his role becomes so important because it is key to translating farm innovation into consumer wellness. He gave us the example of millet, for example. So nowadays consumers are talking of wellness, so his role is so important, and no doubt institution like CSIR is playing so vital role in terms of developing new technologies, like you mentioned, various traits modification, whether tomato or any such crops, so important. So with this I thank all the panelists and congratulations to CSIR for conducting this very important panel discussion on this important theme, and wishing all the best to everyone, including our stakeholders. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is an interesting theme and we would like to go on, but we have shortage of time and we will be starting the next panel discussion. Before that, I would request Dr. Prabodh Trivedi to welcome the panelists. And I would request in the meanwhile, IITR team to be ready for panel discussion. Thank you very much. I thank all the panelists, Chairman Dr. Sanjay Kumar and Dr. Prabodh Trivedi, who is moderator for this session. Thank you. So with this, we move on to the next panel session, which is related to environment, and I will request Dr. Sanjay Kumarji to please chair the session, and he will be sitting here. I'm just saving the time, so I'm very sorry. And I request the IITR team, Himanshi, please come. And this is important information that we have to finish this program by 1 o'clock, because after that security team will come and check everything. So all of you are requested to go outside of this venue, even the stall persons. Everyone should go out with their bags. उनका वापस से स्कैनिंग होगा और फिर आपको अंदर आने को मिलेगा. So make sure that you are not bringing any of the bags with you when you are coming inside. Yeah, so please. Now IITR team is welcome.
Theme of healthcare and Agri-Nutri Biotech. Our next session is on environment theme, which is hosted by CSIR, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research. I am Himanshi, scientist from CSIR-IITR, and I will be the moderator for this panel. Since the morning, we have been listening so many thoughts on healthcare and Agri-Nutri Biotech research. But the another important pillar that still remains to be discussed is the environment. Environment is the ecosystem that we all are living in. We are breathing, we are eating food, drinking water. So it forms a very important aspect of all of our lives. So today, as we do all the arrangements for our panelists and chairs, I would like to set up a stage for this theme. I would like to begin with a thought that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. In fact, we borrow it from our children. When we think about environmental toxins and pollutants, this proverb seems much more relevant to us. These toxins may be invisible, but the choices that we make today, they totally evaluate what kind of food our children will eat tomorrow, what kind of water our children will drink tomorrow, and what kind of air they all will be living in. Environment is one of the 3 pillars of UN Sustainable Development Goal, and CSIR-IITR, along with its sister laboratories, is balancing all the challenges and all the testing parameters that are related to the environment. That is why today's discussion is very, very important. And to be more specific, we have narrowed this theme into environmental toxins in our everyday lives. This is not just a scientific conversation, it's a conversation about responsibilities, about awareness, and about the hope for a healthier future for all of us. When we think of toxins and pollutants, many of us would think of smoke coming out of industries or some waste that is lying over there in our surroundings. But the truth is, the toxins and pollutants are all around us, and most of them are not visible to us. All these toxins are already present in our kitchens, in our homes, and also in the products that we use in our everyday lives. They are invisible, but their impact is very, very real. So today we have a very diverse panel to share their views on the theme environment, and they will help us understand what are the problems that we have in our everyday lives and what are the solutions that we can have in all of this. Today we are very, very honored to have this panel discussion chaired by 2 distinguished leaders which is Dr. Narayan Bhaskar, Director CSIR-IITR, whose vision is shaping toxicology research and its direct impact on public health. We also have our chair, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, who is chairperson of Agricultural Scientist Recruitment Board, who brings a deep perspective on agriculture, food systems and policies. Along with the chairs, I will also give you a brief introduction of all our panelists. We have Dr. K.C. Khulbe, Chief Scientist from CSIR-IITR, who brings decades of expertise in business development and incubation services. We also have Dr. Ajit Dua, who is CEO of Punjab Biotechnology Incubator Mohali and leading innovations at the intersection of biotechnology and applied research. We also have a person from the industries itself, Mr. Wazir Singh Dahiya, who is Managing Director of WS Telematics Private Limited. He is an industry leader in tech-driven solutions with real-world applications. We also have two very known scientists from CSIR-IITR, Dr. Akshay Dwarkanath, Chief Scientist at CSIR-IITR, who has expertise in advanced toxicology studies and risk assessment. We also have Dr. D.K. Patel, Chief Scientist at CSIR-IITR, contributing his deep knowledge of analytical sciences and environmental monitoring. So as we are making all the arrangements, I would like to tell all of you that this session is going to be on environment, and we will be having very basic questions on how we can reduce the effect of toxins in our everyday lives, how can we make new lifestyle changes to be less exposed to all of these toxins. So in case audience wants to ask any of the questions, we will have one open session at the end of the panel discussion to take the questions from the audience.
कितने हैं अपने पास?
Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Check.
Mr. Venukonda, डिलाइट वाले कहाँ गए?
So before we start the panel discussion, we have Mr. Meena, who is Chief Secretary. He is going to make a very important presentation, which is very important for our farmers who are present in the conclave.
कल आप में से जो किसान थे उन्होंने हमसे अनुरोध किया था कि करीब 1000 में से हम 500 लोगों से बात करके आए। तो हमारी 3-4 स्कीम है जो सभी पे चलती है। अगला करो वेनुकोंडा, मैं 5 मिनट लूँगा। वेनुकोंडा, हाँ, तो ये एक MIDH स्कीम है जो पूरे इंडिया में चलती है। और जैसे कल बताया था मैंने, राजस्थान एडवांस सब्सिडी देता है। तो आपका जो कॉन्फ्रेंस है स्टार्टअप का, उसको दिसंबर 24 में गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने रिवाइज किया है और सब्सिडी का अमाउंट भी बढ़ाया है और परसेंटेज भी बढ़ाया है। तो वैसे तो हमने इस साल का एनुअल एक्शन प्लान सभी स्टेट्स ने भेज दिया है, बट यूपी में मैंने ऐसे किया है कि 30 करोड़ में से 20 करोड़ रुपया अभी मेरे पास है। तो आप में से अगर CIMAP के डायरेक्टर साहब या NBRI के डायरेक्टर साहब कोई प्रस्ताव किसी किसान का भिजवा देंगे तो मैं इनको करवा दूंगा। कट फ्लोर का है या इनका है। अगला कर दीजिए, अगला अगला अगला। ये दूसरा आपके जो बताना है कि पहली बार मेडिसिनल और एरोमेटिक प्लांट्स को गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने MIDH में लिया है और नेशनल बी मिशन भी है, नेशनल बैम्बू मिशन भी है और एरोमा मिशन जो था उसको मर्ज कर दिया है इसमें। तो 140 है ये प्लांट्स, ये जितने भी है आप देख लीजिए। इसमें से अधिकतर आप लोग इसमें काम कर रहे हो सुगंधित प्लांट्स में। आपके यहाँ जो CMAP में मैं गया था तो वो अधिकतर प्लांट्स पे काम चल रहा है। तो इसमें जो सब्सिडी अमाउंट है दैट इज वेरी ह्यूज। मतलब अगर आप कहने के लिए कहिए कि मुलेठी लगाओगे 1.5 लाख हेक्टेयर सरकार देगी, मतलब आपका पैसा शायद आई डोंट थिंक मोर देन 20% लगेगा। अगला करिए, अगला करिए। फिर ये फूड प्रोसेसिंग स्कीम है, ये गवर्नमेंट इंडिया की स्कीम हर स्टेट में चलती है, PMPFME बोलते हैं। इसमें ओपन है आपका एरोमेटिक मेडिसिनल प्लांट्स का, फूलों का प्रोसेसिंग का। तो ये ऑनलाइन स्कीम है, बहुत ही आसान स्कीम है और महाराष्ट्र इसमें नंबर 1 है, बिहार नंबर 2 है, यूपी नंबर 3 है। तो इसमें आप अप्लाई कर दीजिए बस। तो आपका आई थिंक बैंक बहुत कोऑपरेट करते हैं। देर आर केसेज वहाँ 2 दिन में भी सब्सिडी हो गया है। अगला स्लाइड कर दीजिए, अगला। ये उसके कुछ हमारी जो ये दिस इज फॉर यूपी ओनली, ये यूपी के लिए है स्पेसिफिक फूड प्रोसेसिंग पॉलिसी। जैसे प्रधानमंत्री कृषि संपदा स्कीम होती है फूड प्रोसेसिंग मंत्रालय की, भारत सरकार की, उसी के एटपार है ये। तो प्रधानमंत्री कृषि संपदा तो लागू हुई थी 14 में, ये हमारी 23 में लागू हुई है। तो हम करीब 400 केस कर दिए हैं, भारत सरकार ने यूपी के 70 किए हैं। इसमें ह्यूज कैपिटल सब्सिडी है। अगर आप कुछ बोरास का जूस बनाओगे, गुलकंद बनाओगे, तो आपको हम 5 करोड़ तक का अनुदान देंगे। कुछ लोग ले भी रहे हैं। CMAP और NBRI हमारी थर्ड पार्टी है, एक इंस्पेक्शन में उनको 1 लाख रुपया देते हैं। बट क्योंकि इसमें लोगों ने अप्लाई कम किया है तो आपका शायद 50,000 बनता है और NBRI का 50,000 बनता है। बट एक हमारा जैसे गोरखपुर यूनिवर्सिटी है, वो भी थर्ड पार्टी है, तो उनके करीब 20 केस आ गए हैं। NVI केस, वेटरनरी रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट के 40 केस आ गए हैं। नेप्सकॉम के 100 केस आ गए हैं। मतलब वो हमसे 1 करोड़ रुपया ले लें तो आप जितना अप्लाई करवाओगे हम टॉपअप देंगे आपको। उसके अलावा हमारी थर्ड पार्टी के अलावा हम बहुत से प्रोजेक्ट, हमारी जो स्कीम अलाउ करती है स्टार्टअप का, अगर आप सेटअप करोगे तो वी विल गिव यू सब्सिडी। हमने IIRI को 50 लाख दिया है, इसको क्या नाम है, अम्बेडकर यूनिवर्सिटी को 30 लाख दिया है, नेशनल शुगर इंस्टीट्यूट को 30 लाख दिया। उन्होंने अप्लाई किया, आपको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा यूपी निवेश मित्रा में। अगला करिए, अगला करिए। इसमें सोलर पे भी देते हैं, बहुत बड़ी स्कीम है। सोलर पे देंगे, कोल्ड चेन पे देंगे। अब ये कैरेट आपसे डायरेक्ट नहीं है लेकिन इन्होंने लिया। आगे बताइए, आगे नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट। ये अनिल साहनी, ये आपके सारे काम करते हैं जो एरोमेटिक और मेडिसिनल। ये इनका टाई अप है मैक्सिको गवर्नमेंट से, जर्मनी से, कल भी बताया था। अगला करिए, अगला करिए। ये कैक्टस का है, तो कैक्टस आपका एरोमेटिक में आएगा, ये सोनभद्र में है, ये अमेरिका के पड़े हुए हैं। कल मैंने नंबर भी दिया था आप लोगों को। एंड इनका CDP जो क्लस्टर डेवलपमेंट भी अप्रूव हो गया, हमारा फूड प्रोसेसिंग में अप्रूव होने वाला है। ये लेदर भी बनता है, इनसे फूड आइटम्स भी, इनका मैक्सिको की कोई कंपनी है, उनसे इनका टाई अप। अगला करिए, नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट। ये आप पद्मश्री किसान हैं, आप अगर आए हो किसान लोग या साइंटिस्ट लोग, तो मेरा अनुरोध है, यहाँ से आपको 20 मिनट लगेगा, बाराबंकी से जो अयोध्या रोड जाती है, तो जाइएगा जरूर। मतलब किस तरह से खेती होती है रामचंद्र वर्मा जी। केले का तो पेड़ लगा रखा है, लेकिन एरोमेटिक और मेडिसिनल और फ्लोरिकल्चर में यूपी में नंबर 1 है, एक्सपोर्ट भी करते हैं। नेक्स्ट बताए, नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट करिए, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। ये हमारे शतावरी वाले किसान हैं, जो मैं MITH में बता रहा हूँ, जिसका लाभ लिया है बरेली के, और जो नेशनल हॉर्टिकल्चर मिशन में आयुष मिशन है, इसको मर्ज कर दिया गया है। तो इनको देखो 5000 पेड़ लगाए इन्होंने। अब ये प्रोसेसिंग की तरफ ध्यान देंगे महेंद्रपाल। अगला करिए, नेक्स्ट 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 करिए, नेक्स्ट। कहाँ भट्ट जी, ये पिछला महाराज साहब का दिखाओ। अरे यार मैं तो जा रहा हूँ। अरे पिछला वाला महाराज जी का करिए, महाराज पिछला वाला, पिछले वाला, अरे पिछले वाला करो यार। तुलसी में आपको मालूम है यूपी नंबर 1 है वर्ल्ड में। आप ऑर्गेनिक इंडिया जाएंगे तो हमीरपुर का राठ तहसील की तुलसी पूरे संसार में जाती है। ऑर्गेनिक इंडिया का जो बाराबंकी में प्लांट है, वो आपका मेडिसिनल और एरोमेटिक का सबसे बड़ा पूरे वर्ल्ड का केंद्र है। उसको भारत सरकार ने सब्सिडी दी है, जो सेम स्कीम है PMPF। नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट करिए, नेक्स्ट। फूड प्रोसेसिंग के जो, हाँ, इनमें इनडायरेक्टली मेडिसिनल एरोमेटिक नहीं है। अगला बताइए, अगला अगला नेक्स्ट करिए, नेक्स्ट। ये स्टोरी है, किसी का नाम याद नहीं आ रहा, 12 ऑफ फूड। ये भी मखाना बनाते हैं, तो इनडायरेक्टली आप मेडिसिन कह सकते हैं उसको। नेक्स्ट करिए, नेक्स्ट। ये मुरादाबाद के फ्रोजन फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल्स है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा है यूपी में। रामपुर में तो इनके बीच में मल्टी क्रॉपिंग कर रहे हैं लोग, गन्ने के बीच में कर रहे हैं, मटर के बीच में कर रहे हैं, और मेडिसिनल प्लांट्स की कर रहे हैं, अधिकतर की एरोमेटिक की भी कर रहे हैं। अगला करिए। ये जो PFM योजना की बात मैं कर रहा था, इसका बहुत बड़ा एक फेयर लगेगा अभी दिल्ली में, और ये मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फूड प्रोसेसिंग देखता है। इसमें आपका सबसे बड़ा योगदान है जो स्टार्टअप्स का। 50 लाख तक का प्रोजेक्ट दीजिए, 30-35%, 10 लाख की सब्सिडी मिलेगी। और यूपी में बहुत लोगों ने लिया है, मुझे इसमें लिस्ट में वो वाले नहीं है जो आपके एरोमेटिक और मेडिसिनल थे। अगला बताइए, अगला अगला बताइए। बहुत सारे लोग हैं, इनकी बहुत पूरी लिस्ट है ऑनलाइन। तो मैं आपका टाइम नहीं लूँगा क्योंकि मुझे जाना है, गोटे अदर मीटिंग। ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच। ओके, आई टेक लीव बिकॉज आई हैव टू गो, सम अदर VC ऑफ ऑनरेबल एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री इज देयर। थैंक यू। आपका
Now we'll start with the panel discussion. Firstly, I would like to request our director, Dr. Bhaskar, to welcome our panelist chair, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, who is chairperson of Agricultural Scientist Recruitment Board. I would request Dr. Bhaskar to also welcome Dr. Ajit Dua, who is CEO of PBTI Mohali. And we also welcome Mr. Wazir Singh Dahiya, who is Managing Director of WS Telematics Private Limited. I would like to request Dr. K.C. Khulbe to welcome our remaining panelists, Dr. Akshay Dwarkanath, who is Chief Scientist at CSIR-IITR. So here is the team from CSIR-IITR who are part of the panel. So I think now we'll start with the first question, which जो कि मैं सबसे पहले पहला क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूँगी डॉक्टर संजय कुमार सर से जब भी हम सोचते हैं अबाउट एनवायरमेंटल टॉक्सिन्स एंड एनवायरमेंटल पोल्यूटेंट्स और स्पेसिफिक जो ये थीम है एनवायरमेंटल टॉक्सिन्स इन आवर एवरीडे लाइफ. So, sir, what is your perspective on what are these environmental toxins, specifically the ones that we are not able to see? How can a common man identify what are the environmental toxins?
Thank you so much and very good afternoon to you all. I am coming from Delhi and before coming to Delhi I was in Palampur. So you can well imagine the amount of pollution that I have experienced. I think it is phenomenal. And when we say the numbers as far as pollution is concerned, I think it's enormous. If we see the pollution level, we are among the top, I think, 40 polluted cities we have in India. And the people who are getting affected by this pollution, more than 1.5 million deaths which take place just because of this pollution. I think every home in Delhi has some machine which takes care of air pollution. And everybody keeps on waiting for the rains. When rain comes, some pollution goes down. But then you see the condition of water, associated problem with that. You all must be nowadays noticing the microplastic problem. Even plants have got microplastic now in them. You irrigate the water with water, and all water is polluted with microplastic. In plants you are getting microplastic. In our human brain, people have detected microplastic. How it is going to affect all of us, I think it remains a matter of concern. It's a new kind of pollution or pollutant which has suddenly crept in our society. Even if you see permafrost, which at times were supposed to be, free from all sorts of pollution, today the situation is very, very grim. You are seeing that sort of pollution problem everywhere. If I keep on enumerating all of them, the number will be very large. The pollution that is affecting our life, the way it is affecting our society. Here the role now is of our industrial partner. It will be tremendous, no doubt about that. Startups can certainly play some important role. Government is already taking some important steps, and most important, our CSIR institutions and scientific institutions like IITR, which is playing their role on various fronts, not only in terms of assessing the pollution, but also in identifying what things could be done to take care of that pollution. So I think none better than Dr. Bhaskar Narayan Saab, who will tell us about what CSIR is doing and what various labs are doing as far as pollution is concerned. I think today everybody is knowing about this pollution problem. So Dr. Bhaskar Saab, maybe whether she asks or not, I'll certainly request you that you give us some perspective of CSIR and the scientific institution as far as pollution is concerned. Over.
No, Himanshi's question is, how do you address something that you can't see? It is same as, we breathe, we don't see the air, but we breathe. Obviously, while breathing, we don't even know how much we are taking good thing or bad thing. So, toxins per se, whether it is air pollutants or coming from the water, microbial ones, it's always that you can't see, but you experience because you fall sick. So, obviously, what we as an institute under CSIR do is look at these invisible ones and try to address how to minimize the risks involved in any of this. And like Dr. Sanjay Kumar rightly put it, it's not just our institute, but the startups we support or the entities that associate with us, they also work on addressing majority of the issues that are invisible but are manageable. I'm not saying you can eliminate them completely, but you can manage them. in such a way that you feel safe and you don't let them affect either your environment or your health or something that you eat or drink. I think some of the panelists here would be able to even dwell upon once the moderator starts asking questions about different manifestations the toxins can take. But I think I stop here. Like I said, toxins are like, you're breathing. You can't say, I'm breathing, but I don't see breathing. So you have it, but you don't have it. So that's how it works. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So my next question is for Dr. Ajit Dua. So ma'am is from Punjab Biotechnology Incubator. So ma'am has been dealing with a lot of innovation और बहुत सारे startups से ma'am ने बात करी होगी. So ma'am, have you seen this pattern that youth and the startups that youth is starting, are they aware of this fact that we need more startups on environmental sustainability, and we need these startups to be aware of the fact of how much pollution that the industries and companies are causing?
First of all, very good afternoon and namaskar. Thanks to CSIR and the organizers for giving me this opportunity. In fact, this startup लहर एक जैसी चल गई है ना इंडिया में, तो घर घर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का कोई रोक नहीं सकता. पहले हम चाइना को देखते थे कि घर घर इंडस्ट्री थी. यहाँ लखनऊ में हम देख रहे हैं घर घर चिकनकारी है. So similarly, इंडिया में घर घर स्टार्टअप होना, nobody is going to stop that. And startups are aware about environment also. So I would say जो toxicity आती है ना, environment, food and our health, they are closely interlinked. We talk about toxicity, which we cannot avoid, but we have to mitigate the technology. So startups का एक confidence develop हुआ है in our research institutes. Industry का एक interest develop हुआ है, which needs to be further strengthened. हमारे रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट्स जो टेक्नोलॉजीज़ पैदा कर रहे हैं वो इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग होनी चाहिए, स्ट्रॉन्गली वैलिडेटेड होनी चाहिए, सो दैट वी कैन टेक देम टू द फील्ड. एंड स्टार्टअप्स की एक हैंड होल्डिंग गवर्नमेंट कर रही है थ्रू वेरियस फॉर्म्स. जैसे अभी डॉक्टर साहब वाज शेयरिंग वेरियस स्कीम्स जिससे स्टार्टअप्स की हैंड होल्डिंग की जा रही है, फाइनेंशियली ऑल्सो, टेक्नोलॉजिकली एंड टेक्निकली हमारे रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं. So all of us need to work together to take it further. अभी बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट की 2024 में Bio-E3 पॉलिसी आई है, which is totally focusing on economy, environment and employability. So environment is one of the core focus area of Bio-E3 policy also. So this is going to bridge the gap. जो हम पहले lab to land की बात करते हैं, land के पहुँच पे भी कई बार टेक्नोलॉजी वर्क नहीं करती. Because scale-up needs a different kind of support system. So under Bio-E3 policy, that biomanufacturing gap is also being plugged. So we have lot of opportunities for our startups as well as for our researchers. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very inspiring thought. मेरा next question है Mr. वजीर दहिया से. Sir industry से हैं. So मैं sir से एक question पूछना चाहती हूँ कि Sir, how can industries be more responsible? Industries ऐसा क्या change कर सकती हैं जो कि हमारे environment के लिए helpful हो सकता है?
Good afternoon. सबसे पहले तो मैं CSIR का धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि इस मंच पे. Thank you. आमंत्रित करने के लिए. एक एज ए इंडस्ट्री में होने के नाते मैं स्टार्टअप्स को, इनको सबको को देना चाहूँगा कि कोई भी वो तकनीक अपनाए वो एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली. हम भी जैसे जी और कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी हम डेवलप करते हैं या CSI डेवलप करता है वो एनवायरनमेंट को ध्यान में रखते हुए करता है. जैसे हम डिजिटल सॉइल टेस्टिंग लैब बनाते हैं, उसको किसानों तक हम पहुंचाते हैं. पहले किसान जो है बहुत ज़्यादा फर्टिलाइज़र का और पेस्टिसाइड का यूज़ करता है, जिससे हमारा एनवायरनमेंट काफ़ी हद तक ख़राब होता है. जैसे एक्सेस में फर्टिलाइज़र यूज़ करते हैं तो हमारी सॉइल ख़राब होती है वाटर बॉडीज़ में नाइट्रेट की मात्रा बढ़ती है। तो इस तरीके से हम नई ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजीज़ का यूज़ करके हम किसानों को जागृत करते हैं कि वो एनवायरनमेंट फ्रेंडली प्रोडक्ट करें। थैंक यू।
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच सर। मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन will be a general question from all the three scientists from CSIR-IITR, Dr. Khulbe, Dr. Dwarkanath and Dr. Patel. So I would like each one of you to give us 2 or 3 simple lifestyle changes जो कि हम कर सकते हैं, which families can adopt so that pollutants और toxin का exposure हम कम कर सकें. I think we'll start with Dr. Akshay.
Thank you, Himanshi, for that. I would say actually a very challenging question, because to bring about a lifestyle change, we can talk a lot about it. Actually, practically implementing it is going to be pretty challenging, and I must also honestly confess, even for us, it's going to be a challenge. One thing maybe we should look at reducing the consumption of processed food and I would say packaged food. Concentrate more on fresh foods, again organic. What we all is the buzzword now. Organic is the buzzword. Also reduce the use of plastics, which again comes with its own challenges, because actually plastics have made our life very, very easy in terms of packaging, in terms of carrying food, etc. But then we now realize that something which was a solution in the past has become a problem in the future. All of us are hearing and dealing with the problem of microplastics. So I think I would just list 2 and maybe leave the rest for my fellow scientists from IITR to add.
From my side, lifestyle changes, what I say that we should try to adopt all the lifestyle of our parents and grandparents. What they used to have their lifestyle, जैसे वो अपना मतलब आपने थोड़ा सा खाना बनाया और उसी वक्त खाया, कोई फ्रिज व्रिज में रखने का कंसेप्ट नहीं है। आपने जो भी एक रेगुलर पैटर्न यूज़ किया, अगर आप कोई डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स दूध पीते हैं या ऐसे कोई चीज़ करते हैं तो रेगुलर बेसिस पे करते हैं। वॉकिंग, गेटिंग अप अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग, गोइंग टू द बेड अर्ली इज़ द एक्चुअली रिक्वायर्ड आउट ऑफ ऑल दिस थिंग्स। और मुझे लगता है अगर हम उनकी लाइफस्टाइल देख के कुछ अडॉप्ट कर पाएंगे तो आज की तारीख में सबसे अच्छा वो होगा। थैंक यू।
नमस्कार। मेरा मानना है कि हमें अपनी बहुत सारी लाइफस्टाइल ऐसी है जो कि बदलनी चाहिए। एक नया मॉलिक्यूल है लाइक PFOS जिसको बोलते हैं, पॉली एंड पर फ्लोरोएल्काइल सब्सटेंसेस, जो कि आजकल हर तरीके की फूड पैकेजिंग मटेरियल में के साथ आ रहा है मार्केट में, जो कि थोड़ा ना थोड़ा लीच होकर के फूड प्रोडक्ट में चला जाता है। और जितने भी हम लोग पिज़्ज़ा, बर्गर या इस तरीके की जो भी फास्ट फूड आइटम खाते हैं, उससे थोड़ा ना थोड़ा वो हमारे फूड प्रोडक्ट हमारे बॉडी में जा रहा है, जिसका टॉक्सिक इफेक्ट हमको कहीं ना कहीं हो रहा है, जिससे कैंसर और बहुत सारी बीमारियां हो रही हैं। तो हम सभी को या हमारे छोटे बच्चों को भी हम सिखा सकते हैं कि भाई हमें जो पैक्ड फूड मटेरियल जो मार्केट से आता है उसको कम से कम यूज करना है, ताकि हम माइक्रोप्लास्टिक्स, PFOS या अदर कंटामिनेंट से बच सकें। तो मेरा तो मानना यही है कि हमें फ्रेश फूड खाने की आदत डालनी चाहिए, रादर देन आप प्रिजर्व या फिर रिसाइकिल बार बार कुक करने वाले फूड को अवॉइड करें।
Thank you, sir. We are very graciously joined by Dr. S.K. Sharma, who is Senior General Manager of Indagro Foods Private Limited. He brings insights into food safety and industry practices. I would request Dr. K.C. Khulbe to welcome Dr. S.K. Sharma on the panel. I think due to the time constraints and for the remaining program, we will have one last question in the panel.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Whenever we speak about any food, first is related with the toxins. So, whenever any process, in English, तो जो भी टॉक्सिन आते हैं, that are coming at the 3 stage. Number 1, pre-harvest. That means there is some impurity in the feed. Second is during process, like there is any contamination, storage places. And third one is post-harvestation. How they are maintaining the cold chain from pre-harvest till it reaches to the consumer. So that has to be identified at a different level. The same way, we are having certain government rules that are pertaining to the food industry, like APEDA for export, FSSI for domestic market, and one is Codex Alimentarius Commission report, which deals with the sanitary and phytosanitary condition of the food industry. Second is how we are shaping the entire process. So now startups are coming in the food industry across the Pradesh and across the India. So as per our own experience in agri-business sector, our recommendation always that whenever they are going to start, they have to focus on the 2 things. One is operational biosecurity and structural biosecurity of that entire process. And third one is how we can regulate between a vendor, a processor, and the regulatory bodies. So what would be the recommendation that has to be followed? So this is from my side. If anybody is having any question or anything.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Sir is from food industry, so has given insights on how to manage toxins in the food industry. So I think we will conclude this panel. I would request Dr. Bhaskar Narayan to felicitate the chair of our panel. I would also like to request Dr. Bhaskar to facilitate the remaining panelists. While we do the felicitation, I would like to give you some takeaways of this panel. What I personally feel that the takeaway of the panel is, हालांकि toxins and pollutants, all of these are invisible to us. ये सब हमें दिखते नहीं है, लेकिन ये सब हमें दिखेंगे when we are more aware, जब हमें knowledge होगी और हमें knowledge होगी कि इनको manage कैसे करना है. हम लोग बहुत छोटे-छोटे steps ले सकते हैं to make the environment much safer and much healthier. I think on that hopeful note, I would request you all to give a big round of applause to our chairs and our panels. Thank you very much everyone for your attention. Thank you panelists and chairs for your views. Now we will all break for lunch. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
थैंक यू हिमांशी एंड थैंक यू ऑल द पैनलिस्ट. हम लोगों ने जल्दी करा लेकिन आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा मैनेज करा, सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. और अब आप सबसे अनुरोध है कि आप लोग लंच के लिए जाएं और ये पूरा वेन्यू पंडाल खाली हो जाएगा. अपने बैग्स लेके जाएं. वापस से जब आप अंदर आएंगे तो आपकी स्कैनिंग होगी, तो ध्यान रखें यहाँ पे कोई भी सामान नहीं रहेगा. जितने लोग स्टॉल्स में भी हैं वो सारे बाहर होंगे. ये रूम एकदम खाली होना है सिक्योरिटी के लिए. प्लीज ध्यान दें इस बात का. और जो भी अंदर आएगा